𝗤𝗂𝗃𝗲, right? But my kids and her really bonded throughout this experience. But I've been using this quote a lot, right? So with that quote made an impact in my life, right? Because I'm trying to keep these quotes when I hear them, and I try to take action on these quotes.
Okay, welcome to tonight's episode of Social Commerce. Give it up. We are very privileged to have Raul Chavez here as our guest tonight. So Raul works with youth at risk. He teaches jiu-jitsu of the mind. Overall, he works very hard and he's just a really amazing person. So welcome, Raul, and thank you so much for agreeing to be here tonight to do this interview and this segment with us.
Thank you for having me. It's definitely a pleasure to be here.
Oh, terrific. So I know that you are a little bit new to social commerce. In fact, social commerce is a little bit new in general. So just to explain to you what is going to happen. So right after this, I'm going to ask you 14 questions. So there are 14 questions that my business partners and I have agreed upon to ask our guests. And it's in the spirit of getting to know each person on an individual level based upon their answers. Some of the questions are a little bit deeper, some of them are a little bit more fun. But in the end, it's all you and how you want to share your story. So does that sound cool to you?
Sounds amazing.
Okay, great. So are you ready for question one?
Not ready, but shoot.
Okay, all right, let's go for it. Okay, so question one, what do you do as your passion, profession, and why? Like, what are you doing right now?
So right now, what I'm doing is I'm a mental jiu-jitsu coach. And what I say, my definition that I came up with, right, is that mental jiu-jitsu is the art of using your mindset to fight life's battles instead of using your emotions.
Oh, wow. I love that. Mindset is like so fundamental. It's something I personally work on all the time because it can be super caught up in emotions, and that's never the best place to make decisions from. So exactly. Amazing. So tell us a little bit more about how that works.
So one of the things that changed my life was Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And because of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I was able to expose myself to a different mindset, different way of thinking. You know, I grew up with a lot of issues. My father was an alcoholic who loved to beat up my mom. I suffered from a lot of bullying, and what happened was, you know, basically I suffered a lot of trauma, right? And
understandably,
yes, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu helped me. It helped me release some of that trauma. It helped me direct that trauma, you know, onto the mats instead of physically or emotionally towards other people. So hanging around with the people in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu taught me that, you know, there's a different way to think, right? You know, every time we trained, right, we would learn new positions. And some of these positions are meant to, like, you know, make a person submit by, you know, trying to break their arm or trying to choke him out, right? You know,
yes.
But when you're learning how to do something, you're also learning how to escape, right? And
yes,
and that to me is like, I always have this concept in my mind that, you know, it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is life, right? Because exactly back to the mental jiu-jitsu part is if I go and I train physically a move, right, how to do the move and how to escape from the move, then I can do that with my mind, right? I can purposely put myself into bad situations and I can learn escapes. So then what I'm doing is I'm preparing myself for real life situations.
Wow, that's so powerful. So it actually alleviates that feeling that you're trapped and powerless.
Exactly. Yes.
So sorry, I think we're having a tiny tech glitch. 1 sec.
Okay.
Okay, I think we're back. Okay, sorry about that.
No worries.
I know that's so powerful. It really gives you literally an escape and an out. You can make your own choices. Wow. That is amazing. And so tell me how that applies to youth and kids and what you're doing with that.
So what happened was I forget really how, I was reading a jiu-jitsu magazine, and so a lot, and I'm sure that you can attest to, when you put yourself in a positive space, positive energy comes towards you, right? So a lot of the things that I was seeking came to me, right? Like it was called to me, and I truly believe that. So I was reading this jiu-jitsu magazine, and I started reading about these non-for-profits in Brazil. Like it said, the top 5 non-for-profits that teach Brazilian jiu-jitsu to at-risk youth. And then I was like, you know what? I can do that here, right? Because, we have a lot of at-risk youth in our city.
Yes.
Toronto. I live in Toronto,
For
right?
Sure.
And
me too.
Then I started saying, well, the reason I want to change their lives is because Brazilian jiu-jitsu saved my life. There's a saying that says Brazilian jiu-jitsu saved my life. It literally saved my life, right? I wasn't an alcoholic, but I was like a binge drinker. I did a lot of cocaine. I was really, really like a horrible father. I really had emotional trauma, right? But Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu set me on the path to freeing myself. And
it's incredible. And so, I'm so sorry.
No worries,
but at what point did this come into your life? Like, how old were you?
Of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Like, were you were already a father, you said, when you discovered it?
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu came to me in 2010.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So I was 35 years old.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
So complete life transformation at that age. Incredible.
Exactly. But I am grateful for all the horrible things that happened in my life, because without that, I wouldn't want to help at-risk youth, right? So
yes, exactly.
That's so I decided I'm going to start a non-for-profit. So my non-for-profit is called Project 𝗥𝘂𝘂𝗲.
Project 𝗥𝘂𝘂𝗲.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the reason, it was kind of a play on words, because 𝗥𝘂𝘂𝘂�ฬ is a kind of guard that is in jiu-jitsu, right? A guard is a way to defend yourself, right?
Yes.
But
makes sense.
As I was driving through one of the neighborhoods towards my academy where I train, I saw some projects, right? Government housing, and I grew up in the projects, right? And then I decided, okay, well, the project is really, it's a project to develop these kids, but it's also, where are they coming from, right? Which is the projects, right?
That's so cool.
Thank you. So I decided that, that we are going to, transform lives, right? We're going to we're going to teach life skills to at-risk youth through the martial art of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
That's incredible. So what age groups do you work with? Who comes to you?
So we work with kids from 4 to 18 years old, right?
Mhm.
What we do is we like our criteria would be kids or youth that have visible or invisible disabilities,
Mhm.
um, kids that live in at-risk neighborhoods, kids, youth that have suffered from bullying or are
Mhm.
bullying people themselves, or they are bullies themselves,
Yes.
right? Because
Yes.
they need compassion as well.
Yes, for sure. There's a
And
lot of pain
and
behind that.
exactly. And then another one is that if they are living at or below the poverty line.
Oh, okay. Amazing. So how would someone get in touch with you if they wanted to work with you?
Well, for Project XGuard,
Mhm.
they can reach me at projectxguard@gmail.com, or they can at Project XGuard on Instagram or Facebook.
Okay. Terrific. That's such an important project that you're working on. Incredible.
Thank you.
So what is up with the I guess I'd say the hashtag Unchokable U. Tell us about that, because I was looking at your profile and I noticed that as well. So what's that about?
Okay, so Unchokable U is my coaching company that I launched late in 2020.
Oh,
And
wow.
the reason, COVID was, well, was, it's not was, it
Yes,
is a very difficult moment in the history of our lives, right? And
absolutely.
what happened was, unfortunately, and I don't know if I want to say unfortunately, but it's the best thing that ever happened to my life,
Hmm.
right? Because it number one, it caused my family to be able to come closer together, right?
Mhm.
My kids
Mhm.
my wife is suffering through MS, and
Hmm.
she's no longer working, and my kids and her really bonded throughout this experience. But
Mhm.
with myself, um, I had an incident at work that I got suspended. I was very depressed, and what after 3 days of being depressed, I kind of came to my senses and said, the only reason I'm depressed is because I'm not prepared, right? I was feeling
Hmm.
powerless. I was
Yes.
not prepared because if I should lose my job, right, then what's going to
Mhm.
happen is that you know um, I'm going to be suffering, because it's like, what can I do? Like, oh, I can't do
Mhm.
anything. So, and I'm sorry for going off track, but it'll tie back. But what
Doesn't
will
sound
happen?
off track.
Yeah. So what happened was, then I right away I started learning, started reading books. I started taking some courses, and one of the courses I took was this, this guy Russell Brunson.
Mhm.
He teaches a uh sales software that is called ClickFunnels. And
All
I
right.
watched his
Okay.
I watched his 3-day virtual summit with my family. And
Mhm.
um a lot of it is basically case studies, right?
Okay.
A product of their product. I used his product and I sold over $1 million. I changed my life. And the
Mhm.
reason that made an impact on me was because I had said, like, these are normal people, right? And
Mhm.
like, if they can do it, I can do it, right?
Right.
And then it came to, after that, it's like, well, I can coach, right? So I
Mm.
said, um you know, the reason that, so I said, okay, I can start my own coaching company, but the reason I named it Unchokable U was because my biggest strength when I train is that, you know, besides the fact I don't have much of a neck, but is that I'm I'm unchokable. Like, you know, like, it's, people always make comments that you can't choke this guy, right? Because I'm very
Mhm.
brilliant in that part. They
Yeah.
joke about it's because I have no neck, but I like to say it's because I'm very resilient. I don't want to give up, right? And then
Yes.
I said, you know what? I think that I want to teach people. What I want to teach them is how to become
Mhm.
unchokable in life, right?
Wow.
Yeah. And
Yes.
the U is, it's double, has a double meaning, because it's not only that you are becoming unchokable, but I think the, you know, the biggest thing that I learned is that the the greatest teacher that we can have is life itself, life experiences, right?
So like the
Going,
universe.
yes, the universe. So you're going, that's another, I never even thought about the universe part, but that's another one I'm going to use. But the university of life, right? You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
So then that's how I came up with the name.
That's very cool. I
Yeah.
love that.
Thank you.
So we can also check that out on Instagram.
So I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
My kids love TikTok. Haven't
Yeah.
checked it out myself, but I will.
My daughter taught
Okay.
me how to use it.
Exactly right. My 7-year-old's all about it. So I'll take a lesson. I'll take a lesson.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's really incredible. So you're doing some incredible things. I love that. Okay, so we're going on to the next question. So the next question is completely the opposite. So what profession, what thing would you never want to do?
What profession?
Profession or occupation, anything like that. What would you never want to do?
That's a tough one. Um, and I have to pick one. Yes.
One-ish, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Um, I don't know. Like, you know, my I maybe this is a cop out, and I feel, I'm sorry if it's a cop out, but like I want to try everything now, right? And I think that
Mm,
anything and everything could add value to your life, right?
wow,
You know what I
that's a
mean?
phenomenal attitude.
Yeah,
So you obviously see the potential in learning something from wherever you're at or whatever you're doing.
exactly, right? I mean, I know there's some professions out there that can have a bad rap, right? But
Uh-huh.
until we walk in those shoes, right, then we don't know what kind of lesson we can learn from it, right?
Exactly. Exactly. I totally hear you. For
Yeah.
sure. I agree with that.
But if I had to pick one, right, it would probably be something with, you know, like say a skydiver instructor or something like that, right? You know,
Okay.
just because it's like that fear of, you know, of being out of control there, right? You
Yes.
know, and
Yes.
that parachute never opening. But you know, but like, then again, I would probably use it to get over my fear. But like, that is something that I probably, you know, if they're like, okay, here, you have to do it, is like, I
Mhm.
and I could take a pass, I probably take a pass on that
Okay,
if I
so
had
we'll
to pick
let you
one.
off the hook on skydiving. All right.
Yeah.
Noted.
Yeah.
Making a note of that. Okay. Do you like going to libraries and being surrounded by real books?
So one of the things is that I hated reading. I
Really?
I hated reading with a, like, a passion.
Oh,
And
wow.
now and now reading is one of my passions.
Wow.
Right?
So did you find it difficult or boring, or what was it that you didn't like?
I think there was, number one is I felt it like it dragged on. Like one of my, like on one of my posts that I did,
Mhm.
was it took me 2 years to read the Bible, right? Just because I was unmotivated, and
Yes.
I didn't know how to. It's not that I didn't know how to read. It's not like I can't read, but I didn't
Mhm.
know how to be an effective reader,
Ah, okay.
right?
Makes sense.
And
Yes.
and then I found Jim Quick,
Ah.
and I read his book Limitless, right? And I've
Mhm.
more than, I would say, more than tripled my reading time. I I actually read um most of a book, which was dragging on, right? For
Yes.
like, I think the book was dragging on for like 2 weeks. I wasn't motivated to read this book, and I had an opportunity to read it, like finish maybe more than 2/3 of the book in 2 days, which I've never done, right? So
Wow.
so now getting back to the question is, yeah, I love, like, I love not necessarily going to say the library, right? But like
Mhm.
like going to chapters and being
Right.
surrounded by books there. I love going to I get a lot of my books through Value Village,
Oh, yes. That's an
right?
awesome place to get books for
Exactly.
sure.
And I'm doing what's it called? The mini free library, right?
Oh, how
Those
does that work?
So a mini
Like in
free
your
library
neighborhood?
is somebody puts a little, like a little library box in on their
Ah, okay.
on their
Yes.
lawn, and then
Yes.
you take one, right, and you give one,
Mhm.
and they're like, it's free, right?
Oh, that's fun. Yes,
So
I
I've
have
been
seen
I've been
those a
doing
couple of
that
times.
with sorry, I've been doing that with my like at somebody's house, and I want to do
Mhm.
that. Like, I'm going to build one on my lawn.
Mhm. That's such a cool thing. It looks like so much fun. Definitely.
It
So,
is, yeah.
and I agree with you about chapters. When you walk in, it's all the smell of fresh books, and then there's kind of a Starbucks in the background, so books and
Yes.
coffee, and it's just like the whole ambiance. So,
Yes.
I
It's
get that.
amazing. Yeah. That's a great question,
Yes.
actually. Thank you.
I actually miss that. It's been a while. It's very hard to
Yeah,
go to and do that right now, right?
that's the
So,
truth. Yes.
yeah. Okay, awesome. I like that. The the mini library for sure. Okay, so what is the most daring thing that you've done? Sounds like you've done quite a few kind of daring things from what you described.
What's the most daring thing that I've ever done? Um, I would say, that um so currently posting every day for my coaching business.
Uh-huh.
I take a quote. And I say how that quote, what it means to me, and because
Hmm.
it's usually a martial art quote, or it's something to do like with jujitsu,
Hmm.
and I tell a little story about how um that quote made an impact in my life, right?
Hmm.
Because
Wow.
I'm trying to keep these quotes when I hear them, and I try to take action on these quotes, right? And so what I'm doing is I've gone across all platforms, most of them, like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm shooting these videos, and I'm putting myself out there, right? And and I don't care what people say. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yes.
I think that I'm daring to dream, right? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I think
I
that
do.
that's the biggest thing that I've done.
That's incredible. And yeah, definitely going live and being vulnerable and being very personal. It's not easy, but it's important because really that's how people are going to see your message, and the right people are going to hear your message. So
thank you. Yeah.
well, I commend you for that. I totally feel that. So awesome. Great job. And keep doing it. And I'm all about the quotes. So I'm going to check that out on your stuff for sure. Okay. Okay. So what is something that you said no to, but you wish you had said yes? Is there anything you wish you could have gone back and said yes to?
I think I really had said no to myself for the longest time. I always put everyone first. I always had this maybe like I am being of service today, but it wasn't it wasn't of trying to be a service. It was trying to be accepted, right? And
Yes.
had I put myself first and said no to them, right, my life would be in a different stage right now. However, I think we talked about this before. I'm not I wouldn't change anything because I'm thankful for the path I took, right?
Yes.
But myself and my limiting self-belief caused me to not take action before. And thus I
Right.
said no to many things because of the stories I was told, right? Like, you
Yes.
can't do this,
Yes.
all these kinds of different things. And I repeatedly said no. I repeatedly thought, no, I can't do this.
Yes. And sometimes you can only do what you know, right? Until you until something happens and you see things differently. So
Yes.
that's super self-aware and super insightful. Great answer. Okay. What is something that you expected to love and then you didn't end up liking it at all when it came into your life?
I think it paused.
We're
There we
having a
go.
little bit of a
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So what is something that
Something that you thought that you would love, but then when you experienced it or had it, you didn't like it at all, or you just felt differently than you thought you would about it?
the thing is like, looking back, right? I thought that living the life that of even though I was married and stuff, but kind of this party lifestyle, right? Like, that's being like, I was married but not single, but I acted single and wanted to be single, right? You know what I mean? And I thought that that's what I wanted,
Right.
right? That's what I thought I wanted, right? Like, but that's not what I wanted. What I wanted was like really self-love.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's the sometimes in our lives, right? Like, and it's a great question, because sometimes in our lives, we have to experience things in order to know that this is not what I want. And a lot of us
Yes.
are afraid, are afraid to even put ourselves in those situations, right? Like, will I love it or won't I love it? And it's okay if you don't love it, right? Like I said, I'm thankful. I'm very thankful for
Yes.
going through everything I went through, because of the fact that, if I didn't know that I didn't love that lifestyle, I would never have been forced to change.
Right. Exactly. Sometimes we have to have that that moment where we just really know. So, and that's very, very honest. It's a super honest answer.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
No, thank you.
Um, so what is a pivotal moment that changed many things for you?
What is the little moment that changed many things for me?
Um, like the pivotal moment. Did you have like an epiphany moment that just clarified a lot of things for you? I guess a little bit. You kind of almost answered that a moment ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would like there. I've had like literally so many of these moments like lately, right? But like one of the things that I would say, because getting back to like my non-for-profit, I deal with a lot of parents, right? And what I say
Hmm.
is, had I not tried Brazilian jiu-jitsu, I would not have known
Hmm.
that that was my passion, right? And had I not tried
Yes.
it, right, then my life path would have been altered. So when I talk to parents, you know, um, we have a lot of parents these days that, if the kid puts up a fuss and says, I don't want to do it,
Hmm.
they go to one trial class and they say, no, I don't like it. What happens is that, you're teaching, this is my belief, right, is that you're teaching your kid that, well, I'll just quit because I don't like something, right?
Hmm.
My philosophy is that, because I've done it, I've loved to experience different things, is that, you know you would go and you say, okay, you go try it for like, one season, and if you don't like it, then we'll leave,
Hmm.
right? you know but
Yeah.
my whole point behind that is that, like, had I not had the open mind to try
Hmm.
Brazilian jiu-jitsu, right, we would not be here talking today. We wouldn't,
Right.
so yeah, so it's that was the, I would say, the pivotal moment, but because I had that open mind.
Yes. Oh, that's very cool. Amazing. Okay. And definitely it does put things into perspective about giving things a chance, right? Sometimes it takes a minute to try it out, let it catch on, become part of you. Okay. So this is a little more light and fun. You had some pretty deep questions coming at you. So this one, are you the first person on the dance floor?
You don't know me, do you, eh?
And not at the dance floor level, no.
Yeah, yeah,
Haven't
yeah.
gotten there yet.
So I'm the first person to get
Mhm.
on, and I'm the last person to get off.
Oh,
Yeah.
fun.
I love dancing, right? Especially
And
like
what kind of dancing? Like anything in
Spanish
particular?
music, like Spanish music.
Like salsa?
Salsa, bachata, I love bachata, right?
Mm.
But
Oh, very fun. I can see another little pivot for you in your teachings coming up, maybe.
yeah, well, I'm not the best dancer, right? But
Hmm.
I love it, right? Yeah, so I
Oh,
you
well,
you,
that's a
you
very
put on
fun
music,
thing to
I'm
learn
there.
about you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very cool. We'll keep that in mind. Um, okay, if there was only one thing you about yourself that you could share with people, what would you want them to know?
That's a That's this. Is this supposed to be one of those fun questions or those deep ones? I don't know, because
I think you can make it what you want.
yeah,
Depends what you want to share.
like, I like, I think we talked about it, but I I suffered a lot, right?
Mhm.
I really, really suffered, um and I'm thankful, like I came, my father, right, was the source of my suffering.
Hmm.
And what happened was, until I think I I heard the quote, going back to quotes, right?
Mhm.
Forgiveness is not about them, it's about you. And
Mhm.
the day that I forgave my father, and I was able to um be like compassionate to him, and have some empathy, because I put him in, you know I pictured him as a 5-year-old kid, right? Probably
Mhm.
going through the same shit that I went through, right? And
Yeah.
you know, his father probably went through the same thing, and his father, and it was just a generational thing that, it's a
Mhm.
cycle. And, um, like, if one message that I can get out to people is that, it's because of my suffering that I am succeeding, right? And,
Mhm.
although my father wasn't the best, right? I don't blame
Mhm.
him. I don't blame him,
Right.
right? And I've forgiven him. And
Mhm.
because of that forgiveness, I am actually thankful for him, because of him, I'm a way better father today than I
Mhm.
was, right? You know what I mean? So,
Yes.
that suffering in the relationship with my father has helped me a lot, right? So if that's one thing I could let people know about myself, that's one thing I would probably share more.
And I think that's such an important thing, right? It takes a lot of self-awareness, a lot of reflection, a lot of inner work to get to the point where you realize that the pain you're experiencing from someone else isn't about them and you so much as them, and to forgive them. And forgiveness, it's a process and it's not easy. And that is such a profound statement. So going back to putting yourself out there and sharing the quotes and the memes and being vulnerable, I think you need to keep doing exactly that, because that is right there. That statement is such a huge message that so many people need to hear. And it's just an awareness that maybe by you sharing that awareness, people can really kind of think about their own version of that, because it's not something when you're hurt by someone that is top of mind, right?
Yeah.
The pain comes to top of mind, and you're not thinking about how they're being with you or why they're being that way with you. And it doesn't mean that what they're doing is right, but to be able to see the lesson and the forgiveness in that. Wow. That is really inspired, and I'm very inspired by what you just said. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing that.
Thank you.
Mhm. Okay. So what is your least favorite word and why? And what is your favorite word and why?
Um, hmm. I don't I don't know. Maybe like, that saying, like, those who think they can and those who think they can't, right? So
Yes.
can't would be, right? And can would be. I have been using this quote a lot, right? So can't would probably be, one of my least favorite words.
Mhm.
It's just like, getting back to that mindset thing, right?
Mhm.
I truly believed a lot of, I don't know, what's that saying, like, I was drinking the lemonade. I don't know if it was like, like it, but I think that can go both ways. Like, you can be fed like some bullshit lemonade, right? That's
Yeah.
like, you're no good, you can't do this, right? And I
Mhm.
thought I couldn't do a lot of things, right? And that
Mhm.
really, is no pun intended, because I'm very short, but that stunted my growth, right? You know what I mean? Right? You know? But like, watching these, and you know, I'm watching these, I just did a 10x growth conference with my kids. I pulled them out of school on Friday, right?
Mhm.
I said, I think you're gonna receive much more value in your education, by watching these people, right? These successful people,
Mhm.
than by going to like one day at school, right? And
Mhm.
the total common denominator about everybody is that they believed that they can, right? While
Yes.
everybody else was telling them that they can't, they believe
Hmm.
themselves, right? So
Yes.
those would be my two words.
Good words.
Yeah.
So do you, well, this is relative, I guess, to the jujitsu. Do you fight fair in an argument?
I never used to, right? I never used to,
Hmm.
because I I allowed myself to now it's kind of backwards, because remember I said forgiveness is not about them, it's about you. Well, it's not. So yeah, so I used to make it about them.
Hmm.
I used to make it about them, but I realized, so the arguments, I wasn't fighting fair, because I would blame, like, especially with my wife, I would blame her, but
Hmm.
really it was my beliefs
Hmm.
that was causing the issues, right? Like, it's like I wanted to change her beliefs, but it was really my beliefs. So I didn't fight fair, and some, because I allowed my emotions
Hmm.
to overtake the argument. um
Yes.
Now it's a lot better. However,
Hmm.
sometimes it's still a process, right?
Well, for sure,
Yeah,
you're human, right?
yeah,
You're
yeah.
allowed to have emotions and not be completely balanced, but I get what you're saying, and that is very aware. So, yeah, amazing answer.
Thanks.
Okay. If you could help or stop one person in history, who would it be? Help or stop somebody in history.
If I could help or stop,
Yes. You can choose which and who.
I'd, you know, like, it's history. So it's like my father, who's no longer with us, right? Like,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know, if I could help him, like, I would go back and help him, just because, you know, um, I mean, like, a lot of the stuff he did was really, really messed up, right? And I wasn't far
Mhm.
off. I wasn't so far off in going on that same path, but
Mhm.
he could have had a different outcome, right?
Yes.
The
Yes.
thing is that, he, like, he fathered a lot of kids, right? uh
Hmm.
there, I used to say, like, there's a part in Toronto that says, there's it's called Jane and Finch. You know Jane and Finch, right?
Yes.
I think a lot of
Yes,
people
you
know
do.
what Jane and Finch is, but
Mhm.
I used to joke, right? Because I knew I had some brothers and some, like, a
Yes.
sister or so. But I always used to joke that I had a brother and a sister on every corner of Jane and Finch. And like, about like last year or the year before, I literally found out that was the truth, right?
Oh,
Yeah, my
wow.
dad has about like 7, 8 kids right around, right? And
Wow.
and the thing is that his decisions, right, affected other people, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So if I was able to go back and at some point, you know, maybe before this started, I would be able to change the course of you know of what he was like, you know.
Yes, and possibly stopped his suffering as well, which projected
Exactly.
down. Yes,
Yeah.
totally get that. Okay. So sweet or sour candy or completely salty snacks? Which one would you pick?
Sweet, like sweet is that's everything for me. Sweet. Yeah. I got a
Okay.
sugar problem. Yeah.
I can relate. It's easy to go there for sure. Okay, so sweet for you. And last question. If you could visit one fictional place, where would that be? What would you choose?
One fictional place. Hmm. Um, it's a tough one. I'm
Hard to
just trying to
choose,
think.
right?
Yeah, yeah. Because like I've always loved, like movies, right? You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
and going into it, right? But you know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, like, it would say like fictional, right? But I because like so I love Rocky, right? You know,
Oh,
I love
yes.
Rocky,
Such a
right?
classic movie.
Yeah, the thing is I always felt I was an underdog. Like I am an
Mm-hmm.
underdog. I am, like, literally, right? Where I'm coming from. And the thing is that, he was this big underdog, and like Philadelphia is
Hmm.
not a fictional place, right? It's a real place, right? But his life, right? The movie,
Yes.
right? Like
Yes.
if I could be there, if I could be in a Rocky movie, right? If I could be Rocky,
Uh-huh.
right? Like, yeah, seriously, like,
I think you kind of are,
yeah,
actually. Hmm.
that's the place I would go, like, step into that movie and be Rocky.
That is phenomenal. And that totally resonates with everything you just told us. So great answer.
Thank
Okay, well, you made it through social commerce, give it up, the 14 questions, and I learned so much about you, so much about humanity in general, and totally love what you're about and what you're doing. And it's really been amazing to have you here tonight. So thank you so much for being here. So yeah, so just to recap, just how we can connect with you about all the amazing stuff you're doing, about the jiu-jitsu, the Unchokable. So if you can just recap for us, because I'm pretty sure that there's going to be some people who want to find out more.
Okay, so my non-for-profit is called Project XGuard, which you can reach me at projectxguard@gmail.com. I can actually, if you want, I could give you my number, which you'll probably add to the notes below, right?
Mhm, for sure.
The other thing that we're like, we're based in Toronto, right? But if you're close
Mhm,
to Toronto, you could come. We're a parent. We've had to pivot to a parent and child class. So if your child is
okay.
suffering through some difficult moments that
Mhm,
they need some help with, reach out.
mhm,
We only charge $10 a month. If you can't, this is not a joke, right? If you can't afford those $10 a month, and if it's a dollar you can afford, I'll take the dollar. Okay, so that's
amazing.
for Project X Guard. For Unchokable U, right? It's
Mhm,
unchokable, and the letter U, right? So you can reach me at unchokableU@gmail.com. I also am on Instagram, Facebook, and I'm on YouTube, but YouTube is just my name, Raul Chavez.
Oh, perfect. Okay. And for people who are outside of the Toronto area, are you available at all for like just connecting virtually, just for like even like some chit chat, tossing ideas back and forth, that type of thing?
For coaching?
For
Or
coaching,
for-
or just if parents had questions about their kids or anything
Yeah,
like that, and say they're like cross
this
border or
is-
something like that.
This is where it's at right now. So you know,
Exactly.
yeah.
No one's
Zoom,
really
we
that
do
far
Zoom
away.
calls, yeah.
Okay, amazing. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here tonight, and great to connect with you. And
Thank you very
we'll be
much.
looking out for more.
Yeah, thank
All
you.
right. Okay, thank you, Raul. Talk again soon.
𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗏